fellas. I'll give my co-host like 2 seconds to sit down and gather himself.
What up, what up, what up?
Hey, what up, man? It's On the Ride Up. Here with my man T. Again with my guest star, Rell.
What do? Back for a second episode, man.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you. You know what I mean? It's been a wild week. So, just in personal lives and just in the world of sports, like, we gotta send a special birthday shout out to my man to my left right here.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to my brother, over 20 years.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to him. You know what I mean? So, first things first, 2K drop.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know y'all both big 2K fans.
Yes,
I gotta be honest with you guys. I haven't played 2K since like 2018. So, how y'all feel about the game?
Well, it's a wait and see approach on my opinion on it. I think the way that they've done it, it doesn't allow for somebody to just, you know what I'm saying, just create this Kevin Durant-esque knockdown, half-court three-point shooters the way they did. I don't know yet because I haven't played competitively yet against other people like in the neighborhood. So right now I think a lot of people are
Trying to load up their guy.
Yeah, load up their guy. I mean, because clearly, you know, people have went ahead and bought the VC versus building their player. I wanted to go and just organically build my player up at first, because my goal wasn't to jump straight into the neighborhood or to do any pro-ams. I wanted to just build my guy up first. Right. So I didn't purchase any VC yet until one of the person who I ran with in the park. So he bought VC. So I'm like, all right. So if he bought VC, then I gotta buy some VC too. So I'm probably gonna buy some VC soon. But I've already got my player up to a 70. So, but this guy's in the park already 85. So.
Yeah.
How you feel, Rell?
I think it's more realistic than last year because everybody knows regardless of what type of player you had, like the defense on this joint was crazy. Yeah. Especially they had the little glitch when people were just ripping up anybody in the park and stuff like that. Man, it was crazy. But I think this year is a little bit more realistic. Like T said, you don't have people that's like a big man, 7 feet tall, pulling up from the half court, just knocking down threes like it's nothing like that. I built a small forward. It's a little slow. I think in overtime, and then when I build his attributes up and stuff like that, it'll get better. I don't know, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
This is why I'm just state why I do not play or have not played 2K in a while. My park, the distinction between my park and the actual gameplay in the game, the 5-on-5 regulation, was so far different that it throws me when I need to go to my park. And you're playing with your player in the regulation to get his stats up and get his VC up, whatever his attributes up, and you take him to my park and it feels completely different.
Yeah, the game, there's definitely a difference, but I think the way they did it, they made it so that you can have more than one world within the game. It gives you more than one feel. So I get what you're saying, where it's like if you don't play it enough,
right,
you won't be as competitive as you want to be. Like right out, you can't. Like there was a time where you can just pick up the sticks and just jump in the game and figure it out. You getting run off the court, and if you're not any good, and like even if you get one game, you only get one game, because if you're not any good and you're a random,
you're not getting
nobody's picking you up on that second game. Everybody's
it's like real life.
But what I do like is I like the fact that the way that they changed about building your player versus just, what archetype you want. Oh, you want this archetype, and they just like, here. Like, you don't really know what archetype you're going to be until you finish, putting your person together. Okay. Because of the way they break it down this year, it's like, it's really intricate in a way. So I like it. The only thing that, it's like nobody wants to be a slow player, but they don't feature speed as an attribute. You can't choose your speed, or you can't choose your acceleration. So it's like your player speed is going to be dependent upon the other attributes and what type of player you have. So, and that's sort of good because like you're not going to have a center that can run down court and chase down your point guard, which it used to happen.
Right.
You like, I'm on a fast break, I'm gone. Or you about to throw an outlet, you know what I'm saying, an outlet pass, and the center just runs down and breaks up the pass. And vice versa. There was a time where, and I used to do this all the time, because I had a shooting guard, and I could even check the point guard, and I could check your center. I could be in the paint checking your center. It's going to be, it's way more difficult now. You can't be 6'5", a shooting guard, getting all the good attributes of a shooting guard, and still being able to check the center.
Right.
You have to be really trash at having a center in order to get checked by.
Right.
It's like real life. It's like, I can check somebody who plays center now, but you got to be no good. Like, I shouldn't get any rebounds.
Right.
You know, you'll be missing. You pretty much yourself checking the paint.
Right.
If I'm checking you, and that's how it is now. It's like,
Well,
because I'm even in the simulation, you know, in my career, it's like I'm trying to play the perimeter and then help defend and come down and defend the rim, and I can't do it. Like, it's not translating the way it used to. I can get some blocks. I can get some. Don't get me wrong. I think if you are a player, if you create a player that's good at stealing, you get some clean steals because it's on timing. That's the thing where Rell was talking about, where they fixed the defense. Whereas previously, you could pretty much just run up full speed to somebody and press the steal button and swipe, and it'll knock the ball out of their hand. Now it's like you get yanked out of position doing that now.
Yeah.
You know, because it's sort of like Matador defense, where you just pretty much go past him, and now he getting green light to shoot. So we'll revisit this once we start, you know what I'm saying, linking up at the park. Yeah.
Well, one thing I definitely do like on the demo, they gave you like 5 different tries, you know, to get a feel for what type of player that you want.
Yeah.
Now in the previous demos, they really didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know? So
that's like once you did it, it was done.
Yeah, and it was done until you actually bought the game. Then you know you could, I guess, create different players, and you know a lot of people buy VC and stuff like that. So let's say you created a small forward, made this type of archetype and this, that, and the third. You bought the VC, you're like, man, I don't like this. Well, I'm pretty much stuck with it. I already bought the VC. You know what I'm saying? But the demo definitely gave you a feel for, you know, what you want to do with your players and stuff.
So
like that.
let me ask you this: what's the most intriguing thing about 2K20 before the game, before you even bought it? What's the most intriguing thing about it for you? I know what it is for me. I want to know if it's the same thing for you.
First of all, they took the archetypes out. Like, I don't like the fact that, like you said, centers are able to shoot a 99 3-point percentage. Like, I don't like that whatsoever. And another thing that you said, small players can check big men. I just can't stand that. Like, let's say,
especially since you always made big men.
Right. Like, so it defeats the purpose of making the big.
So
man.
you took the typical route, and that's cool. So for me, the most intriguing thing was I'd been wondering how long it was going to take. It was really good to see that they finally got the WNBA onto 2K20.
Yeah.
So I haven't played with him. I haven't. You know what I'm saying, because I can't wait to play with the Mystics.
I want to play
because
with
you know I want to see that done.
Yeah, I know. Both ways.
That's a married woman, man.
What's the thing I do? I ain't married.
Okay, so you ain't married, but has the 2K interrupted your FaceTime? Have you gotten the FaceTime arguments about spending too much time on the 2K yet?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
No, but I really
You say
the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Talking to 2K.
I'm really intrigued by, you know, how realistic they make them. Like, am I going? If I'm playing with NBA caliber players today, and I go to play with WNBA caliber players tomorrow, what's the quality? What's the realistic quality of me playing with them? Like, are they going to play like with the bottom half of the roster of the NBA team? Because you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking forward
see
to
how the quality of the play. See
I didn't get to play with the WNBA teams, but I did check out some of the ratings. A lot of them were like 70s and 80s from the few teams that I've seen. And of course, Kendall Parker, she was a 95 all bucks, you know what I'm saying? So I guess you can't expect too much from the WNBA, you know, as far as the ratings and, you know, I guess the feel for how to play with them, stuff like that. But I'm like, yo,
it's a start.
Yeah,
it's a start.
You know, it's a good way to introduce it to the 2K world, though.
Because when I was making my play, I don't recall them giving me a chance to make.
No.
Like I didn't want to, but I didn't. Okay, so you still can only make a guy.
Yeah, from what I've seen, you can only play the quick game mode with the WNBA.
Okay.
So it's just like special teams, like a 1960s All-Star type team.
Yeah, something like that.
That's interesting. Like, hopefully it expands. Maybe they get their own game and grows the W out.
I mean,
now we're getting into sexism. Let's move past it. Like, let's talk to some other losers.
I'm just saying, who would buy it? I'm just saying, who would buy it?
Right
now, who would buy it?
People
don't buy tickets to the game, but they would buy the game.
I don't know.
I don't think it'll necessarily.
I don't think
they'll have their own game. It would be more so like a
bonus
feature.
Yeah, it'd be a bonus DVD, a bonus disc.
I'm thinking a reason why I haven't played it is because growing up, I always loved the my GM's type play, the gameplay in game mode, and for years it's been little by little being get replaced by my career, and I understand it. And in my part because of the multiplayer facet of the game, and I understand it, but that's the most disappointing part to me. Like in Madden and NBA 2K Live before that was that was my thing. Like getting the GM, drafting the guys.
Yeah. And
it's just sad that they
you don't get to draft it. I think in my career, they do allow you to have an influence on free agency. And you get to demand a trade. You get to say you don't want to play on your team anymore. You can do all those things to be a disruption to your team in that sense. But they don't actually
You know what that feels like though? It feels like SmackDown.
What I'm saying is, if you are asking me about free agents, you're asking me about trades.
Right.
Then why doesn't my opinion on the draft matter? So it's like. Let me see the list of, because you play 2K and you didn't even know who's a rookie. You don't know who's just a player that's on the game that they just didn't have their facial attributes, and they just gave them the face scan looking player. Until it's like some guy that's like a 90, 3 years into your career, and it's like, okay, maybe he was a rookie. But I would like to see them change that aspect where it's like you get to see the draft, not necessarily go through the whole process, but see the prospects and make it actually who you think would be the best fit, especially if you're the franchise player, because I think if you are a franchise player in basketball, you should have some type of say so about who's coming on the team, because if you're building a team around me, it needs to be, I should be in support of the people you're bringing in. Not every position, not every player, but I'm saying it's you have cap restraints and there's things you have to do as a GM, and I get that, but the core, I should be able to say, hey, I want this guy, or hey, I don't want that guy. Now, granted, some people do it out of
force it.
Friendships. Some people do it over beef, but if you're going off of just I want to win, and I know, okay, I played last year and I know what type of player we needed. Ultimately, the GM will have a decision, but I can come to him and say, hey, listen, I know you want to get a wing player because of shooter, but we suffering on rebounds. So if need be, I'll shoot more threes. Just give me somebody that can rebound, or give me.
They don't have that in there.
I mean,
as far as the free
agency,
free agency, but not draft.
Okay,
drafted.
I got you. I think that's a natural progression. Because they'll try to add it as to get to the next generation.
Maybe 2K21. Who knows?
One thing they don't feature on 2K as a type of player is the guard that shoots and follows up their own rebound. That's a trait because not all players do that.
Right.
That's how Russell Westbrook is able to get triple doubles and stuff like that, because they're crashing the offensive board as well as the defensive board.
Right. I think we got a special shout out to the guys that's having all these server problems that started the hashtag Fire Ronnie 2K. My guys hasn't experienced that, but I see y'all pain. Our hearts go out to y'all.
It's funny that that I saw that trending topic, because a day prior to that, Ronnie was on. He was all over all over the
Yeah,
network.
I just think it's a little frustration, you know what I mean, out of, you know, whatever gameplay modes are glitching up or whatever. So they'll be okay. So Ronnie's not going anywhere.
So I didn't have a 2K server problem. I did have an Xbox Live problem, but apparently it was
just on Microsoft.
It was a Microsoft, Xbox Live problem that lasted for about like, I want to say a day, but it wasn't a whole day. But it was like at least at the end of the night. I don't know what time it came back on because I was at work, so I don't know.
So speaking of picking players and I guess getting it wrong, our guys, the USA, the red, white, and blue, is over there in Europe getting these, you know what I mean, getting it handed to them, and just lost out in the FIBA, just lost out in the tournament.
You know, I'm not surprised they lost that second game to Serbia, only because the way they lost this game, the game prior to France, because they were leading by like 7 points going into the fourth quarter, and it's just, if you look at the makeup of that team, which one of those players on that roster says resiliency? Which one of those? None of those players, with all the talent they have, none of those guys say, okay, this is a clutch guy that when it counts, this is who I'm going to. This is who I'm going to. The only person on that team that people want to think that is Kemba Walker. But
even then,
but to me, Kemba Walker isn't that player. Kemba Walker is a guy who can, if you're in the game, he's going to, you know what I'm saying, get you buckets and be a problem. But how many times I don't recall ever seeing Kemba Walker and the Hornets coming back from 20 with 5 minutes left.
I mean,
or 10 minutes left.
Though, you know,
it doesn't. But my whole point. But he's the guy. He's the starter.
Yeah. I mean,
wait. But the Hornets had a good roster 2 years ago.
I mean, okay, I understand the East is a little weaker than the West, but you got to think you had the Boston Celtics. At one point in time, you had the Wizards. You had the Cavaliers at one point in time. You had the Brooklyn Nets, who made it to the playoffs last year. You had the Milwaukee Bucks. You had the Pacers.
Okay, so you named. Okay, so let's take the Pacers. Who's the second best player on the Pacers?
Probably Turner.
Bojan.
I'm taking Turner. And then
okay.
Victor Oladipo is probably number 1.
Okay, so who? So Miles Turner is the second best player on that team behind Victor. He's on that USA team. Yeah. Who's the second best player for Milwaukee?
But even
who's the second best player for Milwaukee?
Middleton.
He's a starter on the USA team.
But they aren't.
So like I said, I only say that. I say that to say this. That's why I'm not surprised they lost to Serbia,
right.
Because it's all about resiliency. It's about resiliency, and when you have guys, if you don't have a guy who is like, when all the chips are down, go to him.
Right.
You know, and they already had an underwhelming, you know what I'm saying, front court.
Right.
Like, their front court didn't surprise me. So to know that Gobert just went to work in the fourth quarter against, you know what I'm saying, USA's front court didn't surprise me.
Right.
I mean, but because the first 3 quarters, the USA team looked like they were going to win the game because Donovan Mitchell he had 29 in the first 3.
Yeah.
You know, but it fizzled out.
It's just, you're saying, I don't want to say you're questioning their heart, but you're saying like there's nobody that knows how to finish.
Yes.
games.
So it's not a hard thing. It's not a hard thing because I'm pretty sure their heart was in it.
Right.
But it's like, okay.
Or do you think their heart was in the Serbia game because when you lose to France, do you think that kind of like took some of the muster out?
I don't think it's a heart thing. I mean, it's
to say
not heart as in fear. It's heart as in like passion.
Right.
So here's the thing: if you put LeBron on that team, you put one of the guys who a true alpha dog on that team, then they'd have that energy to feed off of. So even if they'd have lost that game at the end, it'd have been like, nah, we're not taking no more L's. We're gonna come to the next team and blow them out by 30 because we want to show the world that we are still the number one team, even though we had a slip up against this team.
Right.
You know, they'd won 56 games before that. Or 56 or 58, one of the 2 numbers, I don't remember. But that means that we have a standard of winning. Whether it be 1 or 100, we're going to win these games. Right. So to have a lot of these young guys and none of them be an integral part of the previous teams,
Mm-hmm.
that piece is missing, and that's why they struggled in 2006 because you didn't have integral pieces coming from older teams onto that team. Like you had like fringe players coming on that team, you know, and that's why they were able to, you know, bounce back.
So do you think it's a function? So there's none of the mix for the 2016 team. Like do the vets even want to play these interim like these off Olympic year?
So here's the thing for me. Right? If you have LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade and Steph Curry, you're going to win, right? That's so. When you have your team loaded like that, it tells me that you're not playing for the future because you have to project that will these guys be playing? I mean, because if you know that LeBron played in so many finals straight, he's not going to just want to sign up. At some point, they're going to check out because they want to preserve their energy for the NBA season.
Even guys.
So you start adding guys. Yeah. You start adding guys that are younger who can be there to take the mantle from him, and they didn't do that.
But even guys like Bradley Beal, he kind of bowed out. He said he didn't want to play this summer.
Well, but you know what?
Circumstances.
Let's see Bradley Beal. Number one, you shouldn't have snubbed him the last time he tried out.
Oh well.
You snub him. So had he really been part of it, he might have had that. You know what I'm saying? That sense of, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. If Bradley Beal had been on that 2016 team, like he tried out to be, and he came into this one, he probably would have did because he would have been the bona fide number one player on his team just by default because of, you know, he just finished being the lead. He's become the leader of the Wizards, but now he knows he's going to have to carry more load with John down, you know, and his wife was expecting their third kid, so he got so many things that's going on. So it's like it makes sense that he's going to bow out. So Brad is a guy that's is pretty much going into his prime. I'm not even saying have a guy that's going into his prime. You could have added a guy that's like his second or third year, you know.
Who would you target then?
I would have added Kimba in 2016.
In 2016, okay, on the back end, I would have them get the gold medal championship.
Exactly,
because taste, and then go to 2018 to 2020.
I would aim for guys who are great players, but they're not winning NBA championships. So that's what I aim for. Like, I don't know if they aim for to have Lillard or CJ McCollum or those guys. I'm not 100% sure. But there's so many guys who could possibly be. Like Harrison Barnes, I like him, but I like Harrison Barnes.
He's a good role player.
But he's a role player. Like if you look at the roster, the majority of the people on this USA team are role players.
So do you think they messed up with the last Team USA by stacking the team so much with superstars?
Exactly. So I mean, don't get me wrong. There's guys who I think you got Donovan Mitchell, but none of those guys are like close your eyes and give you 30.
Like a KD or LeBron or something like that.
Even the young guys, like I would have liked to see Devin Booker on his team.
I agree.
I would like to see Devin Booker on his team.
I didn't keep up enough to say that Devin Booker wasn't invited.
Maybe he wouldn't have been crying about getting double teamed in the pickup game, you know.
Stop these.
But you know, it's unfortunate. But the good thing is they didn't need this one to qualify.
They'll never be able to qualify. So that's not even a thought process.
Right.
They just playing these games to try to get a feel for who's going to be those 6 to 12 or 6 to 15 guys. I think. And, you know, they'll have their, you know, Curry come back. They'll have Kawhi, I guess, maybe. We'll see. You know what I mean? And they'll work from there. I liked seeing Rui in the tournament.
I did. As a Wizards fan, I didn't like it because I didn't like the way that he's the best player on that team.
Yeah, of course.
But they didn't play him like he was the best player on that team. And okay, just let him lose. I want to see what he's going to look like unleashed, as the dog on the team. And I feel like he had to, you know, find his spots with them, and then they pulled him early.
Do you think that was a lack of green light, or
it was definitely lack of green light?
Okay.
It was a lack of green light, and it was cooked up from the powers that be for the Japan national team and Tommy Shepard and Scott Brooks for the Wizards. They had a game plan like, yo, we sort of want him to only play X amount of minutes because they wanted to cut it to how much it might burn into, you know what I'm saying, his energy using in the regular season.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, but I think he still shows some flashes. You know, he still
did some good things. My skepticism.
He dunked on Miles Turner.
Yeah.
That was ugly.
My skepticism is still that he's a 4-man almost like strictly.
Okay.
And that his defensive rebounding might be a detriment to the team, and I'm not really sure how he's going to be able to step out on pick and rolls and stuff. We'll see. I don't know. I think he has slow feet, bro. And I watched him, and I was one of the only players that I went out of my way to watch.
Okay.
And I just, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, maybe I got the wrong impression in those couple games. It was
so
early
when I watched them, because when you first got drafted and all the Wizards fans was blown away because they really thought that since Cam Reddish dropped to that pick that we were going to draft Cam Reddish, and for Tommy to draft Rui instead of Cam, it's like, oh, what are you doing? And then some people was comparing him to Kawhi Leonard, and it's like every time you take a young kid and compare him to somebody that's established, you get all of this backlash and this. Everybody's like, oh, you're crazy. I don't see it. Mm-hmm. And when I'm watching it, I actually do see why somebody would compare him to Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, no.
Now, do I think he's going to be a defensive player of the year like Kawhi Leonard? No, because like Ryan said, I think his feet are a little, so he's going to have to learn how to, move a little better. So I don't know if his on-ball defense will be good, but he may end up being like a good team defender. What I did see is on the offensive end, Kawhi Leonard has always been an awkward offensive player to me. Mm-hmm. He's a very strong guy, and I think he does, because he's so quiet and he doesn't look like a strong guy. He just bullies him. Like, you can watch the finals. He was just muscling. He would like muscle his way to the basket, and he'll pull up these awkward pull-ups. He'll get put backs, and he'll just take these jump shots where it's like, I didn't expect him to. He just doesn't like he about to J you up, and then boom, he's not gonna jump it on your face. Rui has that same type of game where it's like he's strong because he's powerful and built,
right? And
then he can take that awkward leaning, 15-foot shot like Kawhi does. So I can see what people say that. Only thing I can do is like, listen, if Kawhi Leonard has been a Finals MVP twice, he's been considered top 5 to top 3 number 1 player in the world for the last 5 years. So if you was a reminder of Kawhi Leonard, I'll take top 15. I'll take top 15. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say poor man's because shoot, look how many poor man's LeBron James and Michael Jordans there was. Right. Those guys weren't all-stars. I'm hoping he could be all-star, so I can't say poor man's Kawhi.
Speaking of poor man's,
poor
man's LeBron's. How do you feel how your Celtics representatives played out there?
Man, I'm mad because Team USA lost, but at the same time I'm kind of glad because
y'all had 3 players.
Yeah, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and
4 players.
Kemba Walker.
Yeah, 4 players. Jaylen Brown on that team.
Jaylen Brown, I'm sorry.
That's probably why they lost.
No. But I do like it though because they actually get a chemistry with Kemba Walker for the regular season.
Losing.
All right, man. We'll definitely see where the Wizards.
We don't have 4 people on USA team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wonder why. But
smart.
Yeah. Mark Smart.
Hold up. Listen. How is USA? How did Mark? This is a travesty. We're not about to let this pass. How is Marcus Smart on Team USA? Like, come on.
Hey, look, fam. Look, let me tell you
you're a Celtics fan. You like Marcus Smart.
I'm not gonna lie. It kind of surprised me, but I'll take it. Because you need that. I think it's one of the most underrated attributes. You know, a lot of people low for in basketball.
And what's that?
You need a person that can play great defense,
Okay.
that can switch on picks, pick and rolls. Marcus Smart, he's that guy. I'm not saying he can check big men, but he can cause a problem. You know, give him a little bit of frustration. And of course, he can play on-ball defense. Like I said, I'm still surprised he made it to Team USA.
So I feel like Lance Stevenson should have tried out and made it too then, because he's like Lance Stevenson.
I don't like Lance Stevenson at all, man. I think he's a self-check dude, man.
So is Marcus Smart.
No.
I was like,
Lance Stevenson is a wild dude.
that's a wild shot.
He's a wild dude.
That's a wild shot at Marcus Smart.
Look, he made it. Did he not make it?
Wild shot, bro.
Did he make it?
I don't know if that was a reach, bro.
Hey, it
Lance,
was a reach.
no, I'm talking about. I'm trying to stick up for your man. Marcus Smart is a decent, like a very good, serviceable NBA player.
So is Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson is a washout at this point.
No, he's not.
He's
a back of your bench, 10 minutes a game guy.
As Marcus Smart should be.
No.
I don't know about that. I think Marcus Smart is a fourth guard in the NBA.
A fourth guard.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Swing.
about 10 minutes.
Okay.
That's about 10 minutes.
I don't know about that. You get 50. You can probably get 15, 20 out of Marcus Smart. He has a reliable 3-point.
So will Marcus Smart
He has
average
reliable
10 points a
defense.
game this year?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
We'll
I'm
see.
not gonna give him much more than 10, you know, but I give him 10.
I'm
You give him
interested.
10. So let's say, okay, so here's the thing. So let's take it. You got Kemba Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the majority of your points right there.
Right.
You gonna get 10 out of Marcus?
You never know.
I'm fascinated
But-
to see how they operate in Boston and just in the general landscape of the NBA and how it's changed and all the dynamic duos we have coming up
Yeah.
between this year and next year because Kevin Durant's very. We'll see how that works out.
How y'all think Brooklyn's gonna look this year? You think they'll be better than they were last year?
Oh,
If you lose.
I think they will be in the same place they were last year.
Same place.
I think they take a step back because
Step back?
Yeah, because I think Kyrie. I don't think Kyrie is a leader. And I don't.
You think D'Lo was?
No, but I think he played his role. I think Kyrie has a inflated sense of himself. I think he thinks he's a alpha dog. I think he's the number one. He thinks he's the number one, and he's not. He has good handles and he can shoot the ball. Okay, and like
He's the best finisher at the rim.
I think
Yeah.
he will.
And he's a closer.
But I think he will in those big moments. He can't even get to the big moments. He hasn't done anything since without LeBron. That's my thing.
Well,
and he's an injury prone player.
so
Like I think they step back.
my thing is, I think that this will be the first time I want to see how he performs now because it's like, okay, you forced your way out of Cleveland and everybody got on him. I'm in front of the line, I'm in front of the line and getting on him. Like, yo, you forced your way out of Cleveland. You got to Boston. That's a winning organization. They have history of winning.
Right.
So that's what you got what you wanted. They could have traded you to the Kings or somewhere like that and left you to rock. Mm-hmm. Now you got out of your contract and now you're with a team that you chose.
Yeah.
You chose this team. So I think his mindset will be different. I think he's going to have a different outlook on how he's doing this. And the fact that he gets to do it with sort of like how LeBron came into LA the first year, it was like you want to think LeBron's going to the playoffs. You want to think LeBron's going to be in the championship hunt because it's LeBron. But everybody gave him that first year pass. Lakers fans thought maybe they were going to go to the playoffs, but people who are not, buying in and say they're not going to make the playoffs with how busy the Western Conference stays.
Right.
And they didn't make the playoffs, but you knew going in they only had that 1 year not to play it, and you knew he had a cushion. I feel like Kyrie, because he's coming in with Durant, and Durant is out for the year, he gets that same level of pass.
But
so it's like
the Nets were a good team last year.
They were.
And
So do you?
They were a good team, but they weren't a contender.
No, of course not. But they built themselves up.
So
and they could have.
He has to make the playoffs. Let me say this.
Right.
They still have to make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
But I feel like this first year they don't have to be get to the championship type of contender.
Yeah, of course.
So, do you think they take a step back?
I think early on they're going to have some early season struggles just because they've shifted the dynamic of what the team looks like a little bit.
Right.
But they got guys who can get buckets. They have guys who can, make some noise. They have bigs, because they added some, some size on the bench to back up Allen. I look forward to seeing what they're gonna look like, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of teams in the East right now that people are sleeping on. Yeah. I mean, nobody thought Toronto was going to win the championship last year. They thought, they'd be a playoff team because they got Kawhi Leonard. They thought it was going to be Milwaukee. They thought it was going to be the Sixers. He beat both of them. I think Orlando was going to be a lot better than people expected. They might be a team that makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
You think so? With a lot of that's going on?
In Orlando?
Yeah.
I think they can. The reason why I think this is because the Pacers were a team that everybody talked about. They got roster shakeup. Milwaukee has roster shakeup. That matters. That roster shakeup can be what it takes to put another team over.
Talking about roster shakeups and just players trying to choose their own ways to go. Let's switch it to the NFL and everybody's favorite puncher bag for the last week and a half. Antonio Brown. AB had a wild weekend where he got into an argument, alleged altercation with his GM. Taped a conversation with his coach, then made a A1, by the way, let's just point it out, A1 spectacular footage, YouTube video with that leaked audio of his coach. Got himself fined to then get waived, the fine, and then his bonus gets rescinded. Then he asks for his release. He gets his release, and not 24 hours later, he ends up on the New England Patriots, where everybody said he was going to go to. While this whole fiasco was going down. Then the next Monday, his civil court allegations of rape and sexual assault hits him across his face. And the New England Patriots, by the way. Nothing new to the criminals in New England. Allegedly.
No alleged. They've been fined and suspended and docked some pay. There's no alleged.
So let me just set it up.
Spygate happened. Deflategate happened.
Yes, sir.
Let's just set it up. We don't know if Antonio Brown is guilty or not guilty of these allegations. Let me just get that out the way. We're not going to debate the merits of somebody's allegations. They're in civil court and they're not being criminally investigated. So we don't know. They're being investigated by the NFL, and they probably got better investigators than the local police departments. But what do y'all think prior to that of Antonio Brown's antics, Rell?
I like to say Antonio Brown this year he's a headache. I would definitely say that. First he started off complaining about his helmet. You gotta understand the NFL has regulations that they have to follow. If they don't follow these regulations, a player, especially with the concussion protocol that's been going on, a player can retire today and 15 years down the road, I have, brain trauma or whatever the case may be, I want to sue the NFL. NFL is trying to prevent that as much as possible. So they're going to be strict on these helmets, make sure they fit the regulations and the guidelines. 2, I think AB wanted out of Oakland by posting this audio on YouTube and taking pictures of the fines and this, that, and the third. I think he wanted out of Oakland. I felt like, this is just me, I feel like it was some under the table stuff that was going on with the Patriots, where he was talking to them, they were talking to him.
When do you think AB, we don't know if the Patriots did, when do you think AB wanted out? Do you think he wanted out as the helmet thing was going on, or the jump? I think from the jump, as soon as he got traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. Yes, he wanted out of the Pittsburgh Steelers because that whole locker room was crazy. But I think at his point in his career, he wants to win a championship.
So here's my spin on it. and it doesn't start in Oakland. It starts in Pittsburgh, and this is what I think from just the way things are playing out and him showing who he is, and these coaches showing how they handle things. My feel is that the stuff he was doing in Oakland for that little bit of time, he was doing it in Pittsburgh. He was doing these things in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh is, New England is quote unquote a buttoned up franchise, meaning people don't go a foul, which is bullcrap. It's a lot of guys got a lot of testosterone, a lot of people doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Right. Yeah, like guys murdering people.
So I mean, they had Aaron Hernandez on their team at one point, right?
Rob Gronkowski. Like if Rob Gronkowski was black, we would not be hearing about Rob Gronkowski.
So I think in Pittsburgh, somebody decided, I'm tired of not chastised. I'm tired of, because people are like, oh, AB he never gets in trouble. Yeah, just because you didn't get in trouble didn't mean you didn't do anything that you should have gotten in trouble for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of dudes who sold drugs and never went to jail. Don't mean they're not criminals.
Right.
Like being convicted doesn't make you a criminal. A criminal is a criminal whether you're convicted or not.
Right.
So I think he has been a problem since he first got money. I think, like the old saying, you know what I'm saying, you give somebody money if you want to know who they are. And I think once he got his, and don't get me wrong, I understand to a degree of once you've proven yourself worthy from a financial standpoint, because that's how people in the real world judge you sometimes. Yeah. He pretty much gave the NFL their ass to kiss, because like, listen, I go out and risk myself, and you can cut me and I don't get any money. So from that aspect, I get it. But in order to have that type of mentality, there's so many other things that come into play, and you start dragging that stuff into it. So Pittsburgh was like, you know what, we're done. Like we're done dancing around with you, because it's one thing if I'm dealing with you, but if the way you're acting is starting to influence these other guys, I can't have you, like, you can be a minor disruption in my locker room, but you can't poison the well. Right. So they got him out of there before he poisoned the well, because you already had him and you had Le'Veon. It's like two of the star guys. Right. Let's get him out of here. So now he's in Oakland, and these guys are probably under the impression that they're buying into what everybody's saying. Oh, he's a good guy. He just has a problem with Ben and da da da. You found out the hard way. Like when he came on and said, I don't need the NFL, give me guaranteed money or da da da. It's no way I would have signed that dude. There's no way. So to me, it looked like a sign of desperation on the Oakland Raiders' part.
I think they needed to win
to get him.
They needed to win,
and he knew that.
Yeah.
And he acted as such the second he got there. So that leads into, yes, I do think what you said. I do think there was some. I don't think New England necessarily had anything to do with it, but I do think part of, he thought that he was going to be able to act the way he wanted, and my money's guaranteed, so it's all good. And then he found out, oh no, if you get fined for conduct detrimental to the team, oh, your guarantee's avoided. And he didn't know that, because his agent probably didn't tell him that, because his agent didn't think he would go overboard the way he's been doing. And it was like, oh, surprise. Right. So his only play was, since before that he said, oh, I'm giving you guaranteed money. When he found out that he'd actually have to play and earn his bread, now you're in a situation where it's like you're short.
I just think as a professional athlete, there's a certain way you need to conduct yourself. Not saying everybody has to be so uptight, this, that, and the third, but within the locker room, there's certain things that the media shouldn't know about. Yeah. That fine, posting the picture on social media, shouldn't have had to know about that. Keeping the audio of between him and his coach, head coach, Gruden, shouldn't have been out there.
That's the same guy who was on Facebook Live after in the locker room.
It's just like it's petty stuff. Like, bro, you got to grow up at one point. You know, don't think just because you have $100 million contract, you can do whatever you want. So, you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all this: how do y'all like differentiate what his antics is and how he's trying to push the envelope on what prime time? I know prime time is one of your favorite places. And Ty, shout out to Ty and his newborn baby girl out there.
Hey, Talia.
Hey, how do you feel like? Do you feel like he's trying to establish himself in the same vein that primetime should establish himself, and he's just going too far, or is that something?
I think even in being a showboat, there was a level of ethics that Deion Sanders had. When AB is done 10 years from now, he won't be able to go and hang out with people he played with and shake hands with, like across the board. Deion Sanders can do that. He can go to any one of those guys and hang out with them because, you know, he lined up and played for his team. I think the only bad situation that he was even considered in was with the Redskins, but that was just on their end. That wasn't his fault. Right. They gave a bad contract on their part because they were chasing out their name. They got a name and they paid over for it, and that was on. And he took advantage of it. You know, he took advantage of it.
Right.
You gave him all that money guaranteed.
Right.
You know, an aging cornerback. You know, like you. So I don't know if it's the.
And he was injured. He was injured before they signed the contract.
He's been injured the last 2-3 years before that. So
yeah, I agree with T, man. Like, yeah, we understand prime time. You know, had all the gold chains. You know, this and the third showboating, but you already know when you put those pads on, he's coming to play, and he's not backing down from anything. Antonio is just, dude, is just wild, man. Like he's a wild dude. It's a different type of attention, man.
He's not dependable on the field. You got it. Well, I don't know. Is he not dependable on the field?
Listen. My problem is this: how much are you trying to? I'm not dependent on the wide receiver because okay, who has star wide receivers that win Super Bowls, and that's all they have. Like name one team in the last 20 years that's won a Super Bowl where the wide receiver was the starter team. Terrell Owens was arguably one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Had a broken leg, came back, played in the Super Bowl. Was the most. He should have won the MVP in that Super Bowl. They still lost. They still lost.
That's true.
The Patriots' best wide receiver when they first started winning Super Bowls was Troy Brown. Yeah. He wasn't even the top. He wasn't even the top 10 in his position.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Plaxico Burress with the Giants he's a good player.
Not top 10.
But not right. Yeah. So nobody. Yeah. Wide receivers are completely dependent to position.
Seahawks. When the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Who named
Marshawn was the guy.
Their defense was the guy.
Oh my God. I was just talking about the offense. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I get that point. And I agree with it. He's maybe overstepping his value to a team. Not to disrespect him as a man, but like you want to you're at the end of the day. I do compare football and sports more to entertainment than any regular job. But at the same time, there's rules and guidelines that you don't want to burn bridges and then have to when you're coming back down have to cross those things again. Like everybody, like there's entertainers that have done that and they'll get spit on by people like you know what I mean that they've crossed that they need again. Like and so there is those things that happen. So I do there's certain limits to everything, but I never try to equate it to my job. My job is football. Like, oh, if he was in my building, he would have nah, bro. This is just different. Like, football is entertainment. It's not just on the field. There's entertainment off the field as well.
So let me ask you a question. One, do you think he's going to perform well in New England?
Man, all right. Let me.
That's assuming he doesn't get put on the
he might get that commissioner's
exempt list,
let's
which is crazy to me.
Not for his civil case.
To me, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't think we should.
So I should, you know what? I'm going to pay somebody because I'm a Redskins fan. I'm going to go and pay some female to put civil cases on the starting quarterback and starting running back of a certain team on Saturday.
Okay. I don't think that's
let me say this. I think the Patriots had before you even get to that. I don't think AB did it. I'm just gonna leave that there.
You don't think he did what?
I don't think he raped that woman. So we're just gonna leave that there. We're gonna leave that there. I know that's a different topic. We pretty much don't want to touch right now. I will say this: the organization that the Patriots have, they do have an organization where they have taken a lot of players who's been criminals, who's been in trouble, this and the third. As soon as they come into the organization, they have structure on them. Randy Moss, LeGarrette Blount. Aaron Hernandez to a certain extent.
See, it's not. I don't think it's structure that keeps those guys in place. I think it's contractual leverage that they got. Randy Moss had a great year. The way Randy played that 1 year, he should have been there another 4 years. He didn't fall off a cliff, right?
Right.
How many years after that did he play with them? 1. He was gone. He was gone.
They use, but they don't need star players.
They don't.
So that's the thing.
The contract they got with
it's not even the contract. It's the leverage of them being able to put anybody, just like you said, you bring up Troy Brown. They've done it all across their offensive line, their running backs, and their defense. They've done it all over that at every position. Doesn't matter. They can take Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown goes somewhere and he's like whoever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Their leverage is in how they conduct their research, their scouting, and everything on the back end, and their videotapes. You know what I mean? So it's in that. It's not really necessarily in the contracts. It's just that we can win without you. We'd rather win with you. We can put up 7. We can go 17-0. Right. We can go you know what I mean, or 20 or 19 or whatever it is, or with a Randy Moss, but. Without a Randy Moss, we can rock out with Julian Edelman. That's cool. It doesn't matter to them.
So, I think that I love the narrative because everybody keeps going back to Randy Moss comparing AB. The problem I have with this is, though AB is a tremendous talent as Randy Moss is, they're 2 different styles of wide receivers. Whereas AB isn't a fly route, beat you deep. Jump over you like Randy. So Tom could just throw the ball up to Randy, and Randy's getting it. AB he's not the Randy Moss style. He's more, but he's a guy who can get you 10 catches in AB for 12 yards and then hit you for that one. Then he's gone for 70. I think with AB it'll be interesting because Tom isn't just going to feel obligated to throw AB the ball. But he will throw him the ball if he's open.
Right.
Whereas, because he doesn't hold the ball that long. Whereas Ben
needs to see you 5 yards out.
Exactly. So it's a different mode. So if AB isn't performing on the field, like running the proper routes, he's not gonna get the ball. So he's gonna have to be precise, he's gonna have to learn that playbook. So I don't know, even if he's suiting up next week, I'm not sure he gets a lot of the type of looks that he wants,
Yeah. But I think a lot of players don't really understand that, the organization of the New England Patriots. As I said, we can win with or without you. So Bill Belichick, he does not need Antonio Brown to win a Super Bowl, as he has proven. What Tom Brady's best receiver that he had in the last decade was Julius Edelman.
Yeah.
Would y'all give him top 5?
No.
Top 10?
Top 10 of what?
Receivers.
Of what? I mean, of the last just period.
Just period.
He's a.
I think he's a top 5 slot receiver.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I think he's a top 5 slot receiver.
My point proven though, they don't need him. So it kind of changes like a lot of athletes' mindset. Like, okay, I know if I act the way I did, with this organization, I'm out of here. So I think that kind of put a lot of people on ice.
We'll see how AB responds,
right.
And we'll see how these allegations follow him through the rest of the season. And I like I said, I don't think they're allegations. They're in civil court. They're not a criminal investigation as of this today, as we're recording this. Maybe that changes tomorrow, but that's not up to the standard that should be the commission's exemption list. I don't want to spend. What do you think?
Well, it's crazy to me. I feel like if they put him on the commissioner's exempt list, they're setting a slippery precedent. Now, I've heard somebody compare his situation to Adrian Peterson's.
That was also a criminal investigation.
Right. Well, he got put on the exempt list before it went down. But the thing about it is, he actually showed, he text pictures of, you know what I'm saying, the bruises that he left, and text messages saying
there was physical evidence
what he did.
Right.
You know, so he gave up evidence. So he pretty much gave the smoking gun. Whereas the flip side with AB is like, based on the dialogue, it's okay. They were having sex together.
So we'll see.
They were having sex together.
And then let's put the caveat in there. That doesn't mean you can't rape somebody if you've already had a consensual sexual relationship. Just to say, like, to that point, it's like we're saying, it's like it's only civil. So don't put them on a commissioner's exempt list yet. Like, let's see how this thing unfolds, if it goes criminal, or if this is just, something that might fade away in a couple of weeks with a bag of money that's undisclosed. You know what I mean? And all this is gonna be an interesting year. We saw the rest. We got Dallas Week coming up. We're in DC, so Dallas Week is
we'll
here.
Be on location.
We'll be on location, and see how that works out for the home team. And just this year is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to week 2 to week 17.
You know.